Hi everybody, I hope you're doing marvelously well. We're big, we're bad, and we're back, but I'm not in black or even dark blue. You know what? We're about to do MacDSP. We're about to do a demo with the MacDSP G channel. Now, if you were watching a few weeks ago, you'll notice we did a mix of prom dress using MacDSP plugins. So we're actually going to go back to that and play around with the console. They've upgraded it. They're going to give us 3 copies to give away, so you can enter to win one of those. I'll be honest, I'm rather partial to MacDSP as a company. I'm sure I've told this story many, many times, but the first time I started working in Pro Tools in the late 90s, it was Dave Jerden who got me started. The great Dave Jerden and Brian Colstrom, God rest Brian's soul. Wonderful talents, and they did incredible records. And they all used the MacDSP analog channel, which at that point I think was brand spanking new. Colin McDowell from MacDSP fame started the company in the very late 90s. He was one of the first third-party plugin manufacturers. And the analog channel in particular, combined with the EQ, has been a favorite of mine and many other friends of mine, producers and engineers. The sound that it has is one of the most natural EQs, and they've never ever adhered to any kind of dogma. They don't make plugins that look like old-fashioned pieces of equipment. They don't put rust on stuff. They've always just made good sounding gear, which happens to be, or at least used to be, green. All right, here's the song we had last time. Let's give it a quick listen. So that's the song we mixed, I think. Did we do it live? I think we did it live, yeah, a couple of weeks ago, Eric. So, which was a lot of fun. And we'll do it more. You can, of course, download the multi-tracks down below if you haven't already. Now, we did use the G channel on this. For instance, here is the snare. So this is just the Dynamics plugin that we were using before, for instance. It's on the snare bottom. Oh, wow, listen to that for the gate. Yowza, I'd forgotten I'd used it. So the gate's obviously pretty frickin' awesome. Okay, it's a little refresher here. Sorry about this. This is kind of fun. There's a snare sub here. With EQ points, really nice. But let's go and check out the full channel. So that is, of course, the EQ separate and the dynamics separate. But if you go to the console itself, you can get all of those features in one. Let's have some fun with this. Here is the mix bus. Oh, I was using the analog channel here for parallel. Energy's so good. So on the bass, we have the G console itself. So it's the dynamics and the EQ and the compressor all in one. Really nice, keeps it just really up front. Now, when we mixed this, we had some fun with it because I used the Futz box, which is absolutely superb. We should be talking about the G console, but look at this. So I'm going to sum these two guitar elements together and use the G console on them. I've got high passing here, filters. I've got my expander gate here. So it's very SSL-like. Used to that, of course, because I have that big thing behind me called an SSL, which has expanders and gates in it. In fact, this is kind of that so far. The compressor looks very SSL-ish. Now the EQ, I think what's really good about the EQ is if I hit there, I can go to modes. I've got different types of EQs. I'm just going to go on the type E. Let's go to dynamics. So we can make this go in line. It's selected, press in line, select the high pass filter. So that's really strong slopes. Let's bring it back. Nice. Okay, the high frequencies, I'm going to go to about 6 or 7. Oh, wow. Loads and loads of variation there. So let's hear it before and after. Here is before. Okay, so I'm messing around with it, but I haven't got the bass in. We should be listening to this with the bass. So what I've done is I've selected only 63 hertz, so I didn't really go that low. So let's do something silly. So I'm going to go to the EQ. I'm going to have some fun with this. I've got low frequency there. I'm going to go to about 150 or 200. Bypass. Now it feels like if I go back, I've got a high pass here as well. Now, it's very typical. I learned this from Dave Jordan, the wonderful Dave Jordan, to sort of boost and cut at the same frequency. And then Jack Douglas taught me to boost below, so there's a smoother transition. So on an SSL, you'd always boost and cut at the same frequency, so it almost became like a jigsaw puzzle. You could build these really dense mixes. But in the world of Pultex, you would boost below the frequency that you wanted to boost, so you had a really nice, beautiful shelf, like a low boost, and then you could high pass afterwards. I'm going to boost below it. Like that. Okay, so it's gluing nicely to the bass, but I want to reintroduce some of the grime back into it. So let's turn on the high mids. It's defaulting to 3.3K. Off. On. Very nice. So here I have an expander gate. So what have I got? Let's have a listen. Let's see if I can abuse it. Fastest release. I'm just, there's not much noise going on in it, but there is a little bit, and I'm just seeing if I can make it. I like that because it's cleaning up both sides. Take it off, have a listen to the guitar. Back on. Very subtle. Probably. Off. You know, it's doing some fun things, but I don't need it. But I like experimenting with it. You know me, I will leave all of me trying things out and not using them in. Fastest release. Take it off. Back on. Off. Back on. They just make really cool sounding plugins. We really do enjoy a good bit of MacDSP, even though they're no longer in green. Well, maybe some of the stuff's still in green. I dressed for it. I dressed for it. Okay, let's have a listen to the vocals.
Late night sun's
So we are already using the G console on this.
late night sun's been down for an hour or two, and it's still just me and you. I'd like to move closer, and it's been too long, and it doesn't feel.
We've got the Futz box going on with the G console.
Late night sun's been down for an hour or two, and it's still just me and you.
So the funny thing is, I'd already mixed this song with a lot of MacDSP plugins. Well, only MacDSP plugins. So I'm thinking, what is left to do on this? Why don't we go and put it on the master bus? So I'm going to grab the master bus now and put the console on it. Ooh, so I just hit plots on this. So what's this lovely thing here? Let's go and scroll down. The G equalizer and G console configurations display the frequency response of the filter section. The frequency response display shows the center line at 0 dB and extends to plus or minus 18 dB in the visible display. So let's put it in somewhere where it's going a little bit more hectic. So second pre-chorus into chorus. In typical MacDSP form, it's very, very nice sounding. I'm going to put a shelf here at 10K. Oh wow, I see. You can control it like this with the pop. Ah. So then I can high pass. Okay, I get this. go back to dynamics. Here's a before. Here's an after. Love what it's doing to the snare. Listen to the snare. It's suddenly got that little SSL kind of pap, pap, pap thing going on. Turn it off. Put it on. It's amazing how just a gentle amount of compression and a good sounding compressor. The snare's poking its head out. Put this on, and this is on the stock settings on the attack and release, and just hear it start to go pap, 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 and sound like an SSL snare. Now without it. Back on. Let's be silly. Let's put one side out face. What happened? It's beautiful. Wow. Really gorgeous. A tiny amount of compression on it, and it just glues the whole thing together. It's MacDSP. They're one of our favorite companies. They've been around for over 20 years now. I think, whether is it the 25th or coming up, if it's 98, I think it's 98, Colin, is it? Anyway, they've been around for over 20 years. They're a great company. Colin is really smart. Every plugin he makes is simple, easy to use, and sounds fantastic. So, a wonderful compressor. You can win one of 3 copies. Please enter down below. We're big fans. We've been big fans of MacDSP for ever since they came out. So you can tell we have a big love for MacDSP. Like I said, the analog channel is a daily use on many mixes. Mine too. It just immediately makes the signal, I don't know, sound better. You can add a kind of bump in the low end. It was interesting. Somebody commented the other day and talked about like analog warmth and all of this kind of stuff. And I remember thinking to myself, I've never met anybody that worked in analog that says those kinds of things. They become catchphrases for plugin manufacturers to try and make us think that obviously, you know, a plugin is going to sound like a piece of analog equipment. The bottom line is like some plugins do sound like that. They just do, but, you know, analog goodness and all of those kinds of phrases don't make sense to me, because when we were working in analog, that was all we had, and it sounded great to us. And now in digital, we can do both. So there's a reason why we love MacDSP plugins, because they give us all of those familiar things. Like just hearing that compression on the snare, on the mix, immediately made me feel all warm and fuzzy, because it had that little spankiness to the snare that I want to hear. It's not massively dramatic. You don't have to get in there and like destroy everything. It's just giving it a little slap. Have a listen to it again. Take it off. Snare's just poking its head out just a little bit. Put it back in. Really great. Really great. Makes me now want to go back to my drum bus, which I'm doing, and have a quick listen to those drums. I'm going to bring the hat down ever so slightly. I'm going to go and grab that compressor on the snare there. Bring it back up though. Take it off. Now in the mix.
Long, and it doesn't feel at all wrong.
Off. On.
Late night suns.
There's just some pieces of equipment, some plugins that are just very, very musical. And that just sounds so trite for me to say, but I love how I double whammied it. So I just took off a little bit of the edge and gave it a little bit of that spankiness. And then in the density of the mix and with it on the mix bus as well, it became even better still. So let's go back to that same pre-chorus section that we were listening to before. Couple of dB of compression inside of the drum mix, and then the overall mix has just made that snare just like really super spanky. Now you can back it off, you could put a bit more body on it now that you've got some like really spanky high end kind of attack coming out of it. Maybe dial in a bit more body, but really, really impressive. Great sounding, I'm going to say it, musical tools. I don't know. I don't want to say things like that. It's a really, really cool suite of plugins. You can win 1 of 3 copies. If you already own this, I've been told by MacDSP that for $29 you can buy the full upgrade of all of these plugins, because they had a version before which is a few years old. And yes, it's $29 to upgrade, but they've completely redesigned everything, and they're a small company and they're a great company. So I believe it is $149 for the native version, which is all the people that are mixing inside the box, and $179 for those of us that want the version to run with HD or HDX systems. We're running native obviously at the moment because we're mixing entirely in the box using our Audient ID44. Thanks ever so much for watching. Don't forget to enter to win 1 of 3 copies. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, adios, ciao, goodbye, sayonara. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, adios. Oh, tootsies.